These tattoos, what is that all about?
The language of those people and the music through which they express language is really unique.
A co-worker yours pulled a gun on me last night.
Old co-worker mine.
Yeah, Jesse's after I walked in on him balling the babysitter. Obadiah Cornish. Come sell the hen?
Oh, hell. Last I heard, that motherfucker was doing time up in Greenville.
You know, it's always hard to do an accent. It's always hard. I worked with probably one of the best dialect coaches in the country, Liz Hamelstein, and she helped me with this dialect, this West Virginia dialect. And you know, it's like the accent is like a second job. It's kind of like, it's like learning fencing or learning how to play the guitar for a part. You know, you gotta like, it's like you gotta compartmentalize it. It's like a separate issue.
I love doing accents. I've always been really annoying doing accents and sitting that my parents watched me do accents since I was a kid. Like I was that annoying child. So this was just an excuse to legitimately indulge it.
I love working with accents. And, you know, this is a very specific dialect and we're all doing it. Nobody is from West Virginia and I'm sure we all sound, you know, similar to a degree, but for me, and also wearing the wig and transforming, it just helps with on every level, you know, you become somebody different.
Choosing of a cinematographer is one of the biggest decisions that I make on a movie. Specifically for this film, the photography is so important and intrinsic to the storytelling. And hiring Edu was about a number of factors. One, his photography was terrific and inspired, and his sense of lighting and color is brilliant, I think. But more importantly, he has a tremendous passion for film and for the process. And I didn't find this until we started working together, but he comes to set every day and the working process with no real ego. And with just wanting to sort of make the best movie.
Grar. You do grar. Very talented young man, very sassy Spaniard shooting our movie.
We wanted a very strong style for this movie, a movie that it looks and feels precise and committed and dark, and a movie that feels special, but also some sort of classic, but as well modern. So it's a combination of things. I don't think it's one thing or it's one tone or it's one style. I think it keeps playing with a few different styles and keep finding itself. So that's what we wanted, and we wanted to tell the story in the best possible way.
The tone and the pace I always envisioned being very atmospheric. It's at times slow moving and tense and taut, and then as they break apart and the world comes crashing down on him, that pace changes. I talked with Edu early on about wanting to have a more classical film grammar as a bookend, as a sort of in the opening and the end of the movie, and then as you get into it, you get sort of more verite, visceral, handheld kind of feeling to a lot of it.
He's shooting on film, which is crazy in the 21st century. So the tone of what I've seen has been just gorgeous.
From the beginning, when I read the film and I first talked to the producers about it, I said, look, I think there's something very important to me about doing this. It must be shot on film. I feel like this is a film that and a story that begs to be shot on a film as opposed to digital. And not because it couldn't be shot digitally, but I'm still of the school and of the mindset that there's something incredibly special to the photochemical process that isn't quite 100% there yet, even with the best digital formats. Not that I don't think they're valid and terrific, and sure that film is not long for this world, but it's still, for me, the most special and subtle medium. And when you're trying to convey subtleties of skin tone and character and deep in the woods and dark and two stops under and things like that. And the mixtures between highlights and lowlights, and there's just, film is still a format that has greater latitude and more complexity, more mystery.
David was very committed to shooting it on film, the producers as well, which is rare. You know, to get a film finance and to get you know, a film shot on film, it's expensive, so it all makes it more difficult. But you know, always film is special, a more organic feeling, something that feels more real and a bit more period. It looks what this movie needed.
You know, a lot of advances obviously have been made in digital technology, but still there's a warmth to film and to the lighting that film captures that will really suit this story wonderfully. And kudos to David for you know, for making that choice.
Set. Set. And action.
We have a director who, aside from being a very talented director, is a very charismatic person and a very likable person. And I think a lot of the actors that he met with really felt he was very honest with them and would help them deliver a performance.
David's a phenomenon as a director, actually. I've been working 25 years or something. I've never seen anything like it. He's incredibly calm.
He's so calm. He has such a great temperament to be a film director.
David's incredibly sweet and very, very soft and very, very calm.
No, it's been really laid back. It's been really relaxed. Like, considering the content, it's been really laid back. A lot of laughing and messing around between these incredibly intense takes, which is necessary. And I think David precipitates that.
He at once had great notes for me, and at the same time is very hands-off. If it ain't broke, he don't fix it, which is really lovely.
He's very trusting of his actors, which I admire and I respect. It's always a good sign to me when you can walk out of a scene and look at the director and you just go, yep, yep, yep. And you kind of nod your head and there's no language spoken, but you know that you're on the same page about it.
David's got a real even-handed approach here, and it creates a very calm atmosphere to work in, which allows you to really explore the storytelling, explore character in a way that I found to be kind of freeing.
He only cares about what's the best for the movie, so any suggestion can be made, anything can be told, everything can be discussed, and we try to choose the best for the movie. And that's rare in directors.
What David Rosenthal brought to this film was an incredible patience. Frankly, he saw the film for what it is from the beginning. I mean, I knew his aesthetic was very, very in step with the novel and the source material, but his patience is really, really what formed this film or shaped this film into what it is today. Patience with the actors, patience with the camera, letting the story unfold, honoring the source material. I mean, there were many people that read this script and saw it as a very, very fast-paced, bloodthirsty thriller. And frankly, it's the exact opposite. It's much more psychological. The tension is born of the setting. And David understood that, and frankly, I think he did a terrific job.
The only drawback with David is, and I've discussed this with the other actors, it is rather irritating to have a director that is better looking than most of the cast.
Action!
I think everybody, no matter what world you're from or what segment of the world you're from, can put themselves in John Boone's situation and say, what would I have done?
It's what we love, it's what I love, reading, listening, watching stories about people who make mistakes and watching how they deal with those mistakes. I mean, that's what we connect with. That's what sort of storytelling is about in some ways. Who wants to watch a story about someone who does the right things? Nobody. There's no drama in that.
When you think about stumbling upon $200,000 and you further consider that the way that you stumbled on that $200,000 was through a tragic mistake that you made, you're immediately put into a position to make a very, very monumental moral decision. Do you admit your mistake and turn the money in, or do you keep it? And I think a large segment of the population would keep that money, or at the very least, give it very strong consideration and even go back and forth. I myself have gone back and forth daily since I first read the script. Do I think I would keep the money? I'm not quite certain. But when you actually are put in that kind of a position, or more importantly, you have a film where the lead character is put into that kind of a position, a moral position, it connects us all because we can all relate to it.
A Single Shot is in some ways about a man who is lost in his pride, and he can't let go of the past. His journey is coming to terms with the mistakes that he's made and reconciling them, which he does in the end, but at the greatest possible price.